Hey everybody, welcome back to X's for Show, the show where we take a look at all the biggest things in pop culture week after week, Saturdays and Sundays. I guess that's weekend after weekend. I'm Nico. You can catch me on the Twitters, the Instagrams, the SoundClouds, probably the OnlyFans, who knows, at Nico Action. That's NicoAction.
And I'm TK. You can find me at XNateXGrayX.
And that leaves me, Kev O'Reilly, and you can find me at Kev O'Reilly, KEVOREALLY. And we got a silly one in store for you.
Okay, so we love games.
We do.
We're gamesy people. They are so much fun. And one of the things that I just realized why I look like I am speaking to you from the other side, my ring light was on like full blast and it was making me look so
glowing like an angel.
Glowing like an angel. So, okay. We love games here. One of the things that's like really fun is if you can get a bunch of people together to laugh about the same thing, it's usually a pretty good time. And one of the things that we like about Bracketeering, our signature game, is that it allows for a really good sense of, I think, nonsense. A really good chance to just sort of like lose yourself in the music, the moment. You ought to never let it go. And that's the thing that I think you get from an episode of Bracketeering that you kind of can't get from anything else. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this your favorite game to play? What do you guys think?
I do love a bracket. I think the thing about a wild card bracket, which is the one that we're about to do, is it is extra nonsense. Because, sometimes we do brackets and it's like, you can't compare those two things. That's crazy. But then with a wild card, we add in the extra level of it's a different question every time. So automatically there is no winner. It is just a chance for utter chaos and nonsense. And, when we do a standard bracket, my contention to everybody is always like, we should not do which do you like better or who would win in a fight. Those are easy questions. The question should really be like, between these characters, who would you most like to take on a Virgin Islands vacation? Like, it's got to be something really out there. And so a wild card for me is extra fun because it's many of those types of questions all over the place. And at the end of the day, you have not determined who has won. You've simply determined who is the last man standing.
Absolutely. That's what I really love about the wild cards as well. We always try to bring something a little bit special to our bracketeering segments, some sort of unique flair to why we are pitting things against each other. But the hypothetical randos are just for funsies. And, this is just sort of a for funsies one. We just got back from a trip up to Maine to visit our lovely buddy TK here, and so we already miss him, and so this is just an excuse to hang out with him. Really, that's why the episode title is secretly BFF, Bracketeering Franchise Fun. And this is just taking several major franchises and just asking some random questions about them. Nico, you are the one who sort of birthed the concept of which films we are going over. Do you want to take it over and explain your methodology here?
So it was a long day yesterday. And okay, a little behind the scenes magic here. One of the things that we're really good at is talking out the idea, right? And it just so happened that we talked out like 11 amazing ideas for today's episode. And we've been simmering on some of them. And it just kind of was like, oh, it's time to like script it out. Like there's nothing last second about coming up with it or what we did. But it was one of those situations where it was like, okay, I have to finalize this very quickly. I have tomorrow's episode done. I've been working on next week's episodes, but I'm like, okay, time to finalize this list. And the more I was thinking about it, I thought I'd worked hard enough to like avoid too much overlap. I just wanted like mainly the highest grossers and then like the most movies, but also super recognizable. And so then this guy is like, hey, actually, you done missed a bunch. And a whole lot of this is actually just the same shit, bruh. And I was like, oh, you know what? No, let's run with it because we've already made the art assets.
And it was also just like a very funny realization of like, wait, hold on, I recognize that franchise, but something's weird there. And just a little bit of Googling reminded me that so many of these properties are in weird development. Everything's in development hell right now. This is a writer strike. Hello, everybody. We are probably the only things entertaining you right now, and that's for the best. Everything is in a weird development hell plus writer strike hell, but like there's like 4 or 5 different versions of a monster verse that includes everything from Dracula, the Invisible Man, Frankenstein, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
But then like that monster verse also vaguely
I just called them Albert and Costello. I have to go.
The 2 biggest monsters of them all. The monster verses used to include like Godzilla and King Kong. Those are now in a separate thing that is called the monster verse. But of course, Godzilla has like an entirely other thing that is separate from the Kong Skull Island stuff. Anyway, it's just all over the place. And recently, I guess, the Dark Universe, which was supposed to start with the 2017 Mummy, just totally got canceled. And Renfield, which is like in the process of coming out right now, was supposed to be part of the Dark Universe.
Stop. Was it? That's wild.
And they're just like ditching it because
it bombed.
The Mummy did terribly, and then Elizabeth Moss's Invisible Man, which is a really good movie, but it is like not like a franchise. It's like a parable about abuse. It's a very good movie, but it's like it's not fun, or it's very dark.
I really loved Randy Moss in The Invisible Man.
I think that was Randy Newman.
Yeah, and you do in fact have a friend in the Ghost Riders in the Sky. But the thing I want to bring here is I made this list by saying what's got so many movies, you can feel like you've grown with it. Like that was my criteria. Could you chart your life in this film franchise? If there's 2 and one came out when you were born and one came out when you died or whatever.
When you died.
Great. You're Halley's Comet or something. I don't know. But like
Sammy.
Right. Oh, Samuel Clemens. I just wanted to kind of say, hey, everything here has 4 or more movies. It's as few as 4, as many as like 36.
Yeah.
I avoided ones like there were some really amazing franchises of Eastern films. There were some really cool classic horror franchises that I just felt like not enough of the viewership that we tend to attract. Not that, there aren't many more people watching Asian markets, you know what I mean? But our viewership probably wouldn't have as much familiarity with them. So I tried to focus on ones that I felt like fit, our petty Western demographics. And also had some zhuzh. I just wanted to pick franchises full of zhuzh. So that's what I did.
I have to say, given that criteria, I very much respect that some of these I know are not ones that have your zhuzh, but you recognize that the zhuzh is there for somebody, and that's why they're on the list. I'm looking at you, Despicable Me.
You know what? Actually, can I tell you why this is on the list? Because I actually didn't know that Minions were super duper popular. I don't understand. Like, I just thought they were.
Have you never met a white woman from Michigan?
I just thought they were a thing. Like, I had no thought of
your
them.
sister. Your sister.
My sister, yeah. I just didn't know people cared about the Minions. But you know what convinced me the Minions were huge?
What?
Jonah was like, Rabbids are Minions popular? And I was like, oh my god, the Minions are that popular?
I remember that that moment for you, actually. Yeah.
When he was like, the Minions are like Rabbids are Minions big. I was like, wait, what? Are you saying that like people like the Minions? And he had to be like, yeah, it's like a franchise. And I was like, no,
Rabbits
it's
Are
not.
Minions is a great streamer name.
But yeah,
Whenever I think about Minions now, I think about that SNL sketch where Cecily Strong is Sofia Vergara auditioning for Star Wars. And she keeps being like, I love Minions.
well, from Minions to the filet mignons.
the Star Wars.
I'm so sorry, Sophia. I'm sure you were super insulted by that impression in the first place.
I mean,
I'm sure she loved it.
it was
I'm sure she
Cecily
loved it.
Strong's, so
Yeah.
I think we're in the clear.
No, that's why. And I was, I just like, can you imagine being so famous for your impersonation of yourself? Right? Like, that's
Daphne on
something.
Frasier. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that, like, I think tomorrow when we talk a little bit about Drag Race, is really on my mind about some of these queens. They're famous for iterations of themselves, not their actual selves. And that's kind of the joke I was trying to use as a bridge point. That's like, with Sofia Vergara, because it leads into this. One of the things that I also really wanted to accomplish with this list was things that are iterative, right? If you did the same thing 3 times, I didn't put you on this list. I technically so one of my favorite franchises in the history of films ever is Ocean's 11. That's one sausage party I gotta get in on. And technically,
you do love it.
I do. And with
blame.
Ocean's vastly superior X remake times, like how did you pronounce that when it's like times remake, like in Japanese culture with like Final Fantasy, times whatever. Let's try to, but times awesome
Times
remake.
New Roman.
Times New Roman. Thank you. With Ocean's 11 times awesome women cast. I could have put it on this list, but the thing that I felt that was, even when it was, but this time with women, but this time with women. And so it was the same film 4 times. So I So I just couldn't put it on this list in good conscience. I tried to make sure that they were each arguably different. For instance, the criteria is, like some of these Star Trek movies, they just don't even they're literally in different timelines of themselves. And then like for other franchises, like there's 2 Fast and Furious movies. There's all the Fast and Furious movies, and then Hobbs and Shaw. So, we ready to do this?
We're ready.
Yeah.
Man, you know that it's time to move on when the joke doesn't land. So,
I have no comment on Fast and the Furious. I'm marshaling my strength for
coverage.
It'll be interesting.
Man, my eyebrows just got so tired from that. Okay. All right.
So we got
a beautiful bracket. Thank you so much, Teak.
Of course. And I've got my questions. Just give me a moment.
So just to kind of kick things off, we have Godzilla versus James Bond.
Yes.
I believe these numbers are 36 versus 27.
Oh, yes.
I have it. I'm opening the document right now.
As am I. I'm trying to balance that and my question document.
I'll hope that I have that one. Don't you worry.
Okay.
But yeah.
So yes, there are in fact 36 Godzilla and 27 James Bond. Now, as this is a wild card fight, that means the questions are ridiculous. They are, who would be more likely to be felled by the Smurfs? Godzilla or James Bond? Who would be more likely to win a hot dog eating competition? The main character of the Godzilla franchise or the main character of the James Bond franchise? The questions are always meant to be odd.
And stupid.
And fun.
And really stupid.
And friendship.
And so, to kick things off, a very important question. Which of these franchises would you rather see turned into a trashy romance novel series?
Godzilla.
Of course
Ooh,
it's
yeah. Bye, Bond.
Bye, Bond. You're just
course
not as
it's
sexy as
Godzilla.
a giant lizard.
Bye, clown.
God, learn to be
Uh.
sexy, James Bond. Wow, that was
a
the
quick one.
fastest we've ever decided
That was
anything
one of the
on
fastest
this.
we
I mean,
ever
of
done
course, like
movies.
I'm already kind of writing it in my head, and how fast can I get this on Kindle Unlimited?
Right?
I thought it was going to be legitimately what the episode description was, not like facetiously what the episode description was. And I was going to say, prom theme would have been a tougher choice for me because formal wear is great, but Godzilla.
I mean, that one's on here still. I
I'm
randomized,
sure.
so I can't tell you
But-
when it's coming up, but it's on.
But this question, no. Sometimes it's a thinker, and sometimes, nope, we're
Well,
done.
we just know.
Bye, Jamie.
And to that end,
Oh,
which would make the better Broadway musical? The Batman series or the Mummy series?
I'm genuinely torn.
Yeah,
Kebo,
what were
do
you
you
gonna
have a
say?
graphic?
I have boards for every 4 pairs. Where's my mouse right now? So I've already crossed out Jamie's face.
Okay.
By Jimmy
And
Bobo.
so
All right, can I make the
you
case?
brought up you sourced a lot of really beautiful pieces of art for this that I think were all incredibly lovely choices. I never saw this album cover for Batman Returns before. Beautiful.
So the guy who taught me everything I know about podcasting, my Obi-Wan, right?
Right.
The coolest guy in the entire universe, Joey Lewandowski, taught me. And if anybody wants to check out some phenomenal content, Too Fast, Too Forever, Cage Club, whatever the fuck the Keanu show is called, we're Keanu cool. I don't know, but he's really good. Everything Joey does, and he turned me on.
Everything Cage Club.
Right, and he turned me on to Mondo Designs like 6-7 years ago, and I've never looked back. Mondo does all the most beautiful work. I have a bunch of Mondo X-Men stuff hanging in the office, and there's just nobody who does Mondo like Mondo. There's a million Mondo ripoffs, and wherever there was not a Mondo poster, I did source a Mondo ripoff, but I made sure that it was an authentically released, like authorized poster where I could. So, I want to make a case for why The Mummy is the better musical. Both would be brilliant. If both were done right, both would be perfect. And I actually think there are artists who could do both. I think there are people who are better suited to one or the other. But the thing I want to point out here, most specifically, a Batman musical will be mired in being Batman. At the end of the day, it's a Batman musical. The Mummy musical, excuse me, I have the hiccups. I just shotgunned a bang really fast. And now I have a terrible case of the hiccups. But The Mummy, The Mummy, it really is a brand. It's an entity, but more than an entity, it carries the caveat of culture. And you could make a truly beautiful The Mummy musical with honest respect to cultures by downplaying the horror elements and upplaying the horror aesthetic and tying that into some really beautiful elements. Choose cultures that do mummification, but perhaps like find a white one. You know what I mean? Just pick on them for a minute. But I do think there's a lot of stuff to be said for how The Mummy musical could be like very shared world, where a Batman musical is very, did they use the Tim Burton theme?
Yeah, already. I mean, so it's tough. The Batman, those Tim Burton ones really basically are already musical. Like they just need the songs. You would use the Danny Elfman score. The aesthetic is already there. It's basically just like Andrew Lloyd Webber comes in and does the book and the musical is done. And then it is still weirdly just DC's Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Because it's going to have so many batarang grappling hook swinging across the stage moments, and you basically know what you're getting. The
Right.
Mummy musical really could be like low-key an opera. It would be really expansive and gaudy in the best possible way, and it could be basically whatever you wanted it to be. The Batman musical basically can't be anything but what is already there from the Batman, like, because even this latest one, this Matt Reeves one, like, we've done everything we can in the Batman style.
We're calling it the Matt Reeves one, not the Rob Patterson one. Pattinson, sorry, man.
No,
Rob
I'm
Patterson.
gonna have to save the Rob Pattinson one for Twilight, since we're also getting a second one of those.
I really like your point, because it's anything to save me from "Ow Meow My Pussy," the Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer, Fabulous Baker Boys on a piano number where she licks milk off herself. And
I mean,
Sutton
Nico,
Foster
I was
is
against this
amazing,
idea,
but-
and then you named this song, and now I'm kind of wondering if maybe I made the wrong choice.
Ow, meow, my pussy. Like, it would be like the greatest number ever.
Yeah, I'm still giving it to the Mummy,
Me
but
too, but I need this number.
I really do need this number.
I'll write it for a cabaret.
I was gonna say. So, Kevo, what do you got?
Well, the important thing is that I can vote for Batman with guilt-free conscience, because it's
Okay.
not the decision maker.
Okay.
I think we all agree that there's merit. There's merit.
There's merit.
You guys are probably more onto something than I am, but mummies are gross. So I vote Batman, and I lose, and I accept this.
A fair assertion, though. Mummies are gross. Now, in the case of the Muppets versus Superman,
Ooh.
the jury would like to know, this is a fascinating one, which would make a better 90s style sitcom?
So I just want to kick off with, there have been 19 Mummy movies, 17 friggin' Batman movies when you count the serials and animated films, right? Proper animated films, not like special episodes or anything. So like Mask of the Phantasm or Batman meets Scooby-Doo. But there have been 14 Muppet movies and 14 Superman movies. So
is wild that the first two are 36 and 27. And then it drops so dramatically.
yeah, I mean, I only kept Police Academy off the list because it's Police Academy, but its number of films is pretty useful. But okay, 90s style sitcoms. So like sitting at Central Perk, sitting at Cafe Nervosa. Did people do, Cheers.
Well,
Did people do anything but sit around and drink?
I mean, pick your poison. Do you want to do Friends having a job in the big city, or do you want to do Full House? So that's part of it too. TGIF versus Caroline in the City.
Okay, but now I'm imagining like, oh, geez, Gonzo, your mom died and now I'm your dad. And Gonzo being like, but how are we related?
You also, you could do a news radio. You could do a single guy, Will and Grace.
Okay, but now I was picturing like a dramatic style sitcom where it's like, oh geez, Gonzo, your mom died. Everything's gonna be okay. I started drinking. I need help. I drank. I can't.
I'm your
do voices on
stepmom
the
and I'm
fly.
a pig woman.
No, not even the family one. Like a dramatic one. Like
Oh, okay.
yeah, like
Superman in the style of Golden Girls, also, fully an option.
And every episode is the destruction of Krypton. So, oh wow, they also sat around a table drinking coffee. So,
That-
I think my big thing here is it depends on your 90s sitcom style. I think a family sitcom starring the Muppets is pretty attractive, but I don't think I find necessarily a family sitcom about Superman as attractive. I think a workplace sitcom about either really works. And I think that like a dramatic show about either actually does work. The Muppets is like a cast of freaks, like just trying to survive a weird world that doesn't really have the use for them. That's a story right there. I mean, that's a video tool would make at least. So, I think it's just that the Muppets work a few more places. So I have to vote Muppets, not just because we're covering them tomorrow and Muppets Mayhem is pretty good, but because, and I don't see us covering Superman unless we do the N64 game. But because the Muppets really do just work in a few extra capacities for me.
Yeah.
That your vote too, Kevo?
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna go. I think a perhaps different era sitcom would be interesting for Superman for me. A more classic era. But for 90s, I think I'm gonna go Muppets.
So for me, my vote is fully for Superman. While I agree that Full House style might not be my favorite, although like Family Style with the Justice
Full House style. I guess we're still a comic show after all.
With the Justice League, it would be pretty great.
Yes.
But
yeah, I agree.
Friends or Will and Grace style, maybe even like a Mad About You for the like standard Superman cast, Clark, Lois, Jimmy Olsen.
I'm just saying, I gotta go save this day. You want me to go? I mean, James, I would love to help and stick around and help you do this newspaper article, but I gotta go save the day. It's important that I go save the day. Can you talk to Ira about how important it is that I go save the day?
With Supergirl as kind of like Superman's, as like the Monica to Superman's Ross, the Crypto as that monkey that Ross had for a while. This is just dynamite.
Okay, so I hear you, but so who's your vote? Superman?
My vote is for Superman, fully for Superman.
Geez,
I know I'm losing, but that's my vote.
All right.
I respect your vote, sir.
Thank you.
Make
now,
but it's
as it has been written.
So it shall be done. Two absolute juggernauts here: the Star Trek franchise and the X-Men franchise.
Each with 13 films.
This is a good one for these two. Which would make a better Ryan Murphy style faux documentary?
X-Men.
I completely agree, X-Men. Star Trek is too... You would break Star Trek by doing Ryan Murphy stuff to it, and then the question is it just a joke? Or like how is this working? There's no way to do the values.
You could do a Parks and Rec or a Christopher Guest documentary.
Yeah, you just couldn't do
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Ryan Murphy,
no.
And that's what you missed on Fleet.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Star Trek. Yeah.
I'm
going to give it to Star Trek, and here's why. Because when I wrote the question, I saw it very feud. And like, I kind of can't help but see William Shatner versus everyone on Earth. And, they called him Jean-Luc Picard for a while because Patrick Stewart's a little out there before everybody got a little out there. I think there's something there. So I'm going Star Trek.
I really respect it. You've been outvoted, but I like where you're coming from.
Lefties.
All right, let's put it on the board.
All right, that's our first.
I just want to one more time. This song is the incredible Sasha Colby Goddess. It's the X's for Show mix. Super love this track. Super duper love getting to celebrate her win with this piece of music. Just love it.
We love it. Kevo, you got our next four.
Do we go to the next group?
Yeah.
This gang?
That's the one.
All right. So for King Kong versus Halloween, this is 13.
Actually, they were accidentally swapped. So the first one that we're doing is Spider-Man and Star Trek.
Oh my. Oh,
Okay.
right. Oh, wait, Spider-Man and
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
Star Trek.
Whew.
Yeah.
I was
sorry.
like,
No, we just did Star Trek.
these each have 12 films
Got
in their
it.
series,
Okay.
and both have had films
That's
produced, in multiple decades. So this is another really great point of comparison.
And the question is, what series would be better 200 years in the past of its time?
I'm sorry this one fell to where it fell. That's got to be Star Wars. I would love to see a history of Star Wars, and I didn't love 1602, so I'm quite covered on old-timey Spider-Man, but I can't get enough of the Knights of the Semi-Old Jedi Republic because I don't think 200 years ago is really that old. I think like Yoda was like, oh, I'm just going to go for coffee. 200 years ago, it wasn't exactly like, we're finding kyber crystals for the first time. But,
Yeah.
give me some old-timey Star Wars before some old-timey Spider-Man. What am I going to do? Look at a fetus. So...
yeah, I'm a little bit stoked that this one ended where it did because it is so illustrative of two things. One, Star Wars universe is like hundreds of thousands of years old, so there's so much history, and there's always a comic or a novel or a video game that deals with old Star Wars lore, and you never run out of cool stories to tell there, which I find very impressive because it seems like they do run out of cool stories to tell in the Star Wars present and future. So that's interesting. Meanwhile, we have covered quite a lot of Spider-Man's incarnations in the past. They do not get better as time goes by. And yeah, 200 years ago, that's like there is an 1800s Spider-Man. There's two actually, and neither of them is particularly interesting. So Nico, I think you nailed it. It's got to go to Star Wars.
MC2 board.
There it is. Yeah.
Wonderful MC2 coverage.
Yeah,
Oh,
check it out. We've talked so much alternate Spider-Person stuff. We have plenty of experience with the 200 years ago versions. I can tell you some of them are okay for a 4-page read. They will not do well for an entire film or film franchise. But Star Wars, I think we all know, would do just fine.
Yeah.
Star Wars can
No
handle
offense,
itself.
Spidey. And it's hugely because of the constraints of Marvel.
Yes.
And, respectfully.
Also the constraints of shitty American history.
Yeah, but they're not going to, have a giant apocalypse that everyone forgot about in 1820.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen.
You can't blow a continent off the map in 1820, but there could be a planet that fell 200 years ago that had an impact that we just haven't heard that much about yet.
Yep.
Word.
So now we are on to Halloween and Kong. And Nico, what do we got for stats on this one?
Kong 13, Halloween 12. But who's the bigger monster? Humanity or Michael Myers?
Or Mike Myers?
Yeah, outside of Gong Show, good question. Gong Show, though, Mike Myers could do no wrong
for us
on Gong
lately?
Show.
So the question here is, what do you want to see get a pup named Scooby-Doo treatment? Meaning a sort of teenage or younger in the past Muppet Babies-esque.
Halloween!
Oh, mine is Kong.
Cute little baby Michael Myers and Lori constantly being like, Michael, put the knife away. And Michael being
Although
like...
I do love the idea of a adorable theme. La 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 la. Yeah.
It's like a nursery rhyme. Halloweenies, because they're little.
Chibi Michael Myers is a pretty great prospect.
And Chibi Lori, turning his life around. And in the Chibi universe, they just kill serial killers.
Giant baby monkey.
Giant baby monkey is tough to argue with.
Do you?
Giant baby monkey going after what's her name? Naomi Watts. Climbing just like a school tower or something, a gazebo at a park.
No,
I gotta break this tie, don't I?
You do.
At some point, no tea, no shade.
I gotta give it to Halloween. It's too
I respect
stupid.
that.
Get it,
I
Lori.
respect it.
All right.
I do.
The FF versus the HP.
We've got 11 films in the Wizarding world, and we have 11 films in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Crazy. And the question is,
Which cast would make for a more fun Galactic Star Cruiser, rest in peace, style experience? Like a hotel with a LARPing component that you pay too much money for.
Can I be honest? And I understand I'm going to lose on this one, but let me tell you why.
No, it's
I
totally
am-
the Fast and the Furious.
And let me tell you why.
yeah,
why? I don't want it to be Harry Potter, so sure, but go ahead. How?
The Harry Potter experience is
It's
like
just so
LARPing
obvious.
101. I can get that anywhere. But an
I can poop
Okay.
on a floor wherever I go.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I lay down, anywhere is the bed. You know what I
You
mean?
you can't cosplay being part of a car racing stunt family.
Say
Yes.
who.
And that's kind of what it feels like. If I woke up and I was like, because I mean, like I do kind of fancy myself like a Dom Toretto type. You know, I do fancy myself very emboldened family. You know, and I like to think of myself as the leader of my group of family. And I've also decided that I have the Furious Force, whereas Paul Walker had the Fast Force. And this is
It
the whole
happens.
thing. You should check out Too Fast, Too Forever's coverage of this. It's amazing. And so I do think that the Fast and Furious experience, like, it would be so uniquely shitty.
Yeah.
And like you would really be mistreated. And like,
There'd be food all over the place.
okay. And like they would be like, here's a nos, this is your lunch. And like you would just be
Wait.
like, my whole lunch is a nos? And they're like, yeah.
Drink it or huff it. I'm not sure.
How'd they become Jewish for a second? I heard that.
No, they're just very like they're very
Mexican
garagey.
Jewish.
Are there any Jews in the Fast and Furious franchise?
Great question. Great
Vin
question.
Dieselwitz?
I'm gonna have to look into this. Listen, I love my people greatly. I wouldn't really trust us to be racing cars or doing any sort of moving vehicle stunts. And
I don't know. You guys built the pyramid, so I have a feeling you guys are very good at moving large slabs very short distances.
those
quickly.
wheels moved slowly, though.
All right.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that they figured out how to make them drift. That said,
Pyramid drift. Holy shit.
yeah, come on. I mean, like, Harry Potter, of course, makes total sense. I've been to Wizarding World. I drank the butterbeer. I want, you know, to sleep in a hotel room that is a room above a garage.
Yeah.
And there's just explosions a lot of the time. You know,
Just Cuban food all over the place.
you exit
And you
the
know that it's
monorail in a way that makes
pyrotechnics.
you feel like you are driving your car off of a helicopter.
You know that there's a safety crew nearby, and
Right.
you're eating like this, you know, food that's been prepared by someone, and like, but you know it's actually like the allergy approved. Like, you know it's a safe.
the
This
grease
fast
sauce
experience.
is just a chocolate sauce. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Furious Land, I'll be there. I assume it's going to be somewhere horrible
yeah.
like St. Petersburg. I can't wait.
I'm in.
All right, next up we got The Invisible Man, also known as the Monsterverse, and the Middle-earth universe.
For this, we have 8 invisible men's and 7 Middle Earths.
And the question is, which series would you send into the past to show a glimpse of the future? Nico, you made up these questions. I had to change some of them. I chose not to change this one.
Middle
I
Earth.
would show The Hobbit just to fuck with them, obviously.
Because it is theoretical canon that Middle Earth is our Earth.
Yep.
So they are just our past, an age that we simply forgot in the millions of years that have existed. Yes, I think showing the internet to hobbits would be hysterical.
Yep.
Wait, no, backward. You're showing this film to the past of our time to
show them what the future is like, and I'm still saying The Hobbit.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. So wait, they would think that the Hobbit is now?
Yes.
Still hysterical.
Yep.
I like mine, but yeah.
I'm going to show them all the Invisible Man movies so they can be like, what the hell is time?
And I would include my part of, and technically, canonically, this is our history.
Yeah,
Just
no,
to
absolutely. I'd
mess
be
with
like,
them even more.
this anthropologist named J.R.R. Tolkien did some research and
Erase
is-
all the people of color.
Scientifically,
Yep.
no scientist today can say it's technically certainly wrong.
that's
So I
absolutely
can
correct.
definitely show this to Socrates and really mess up his day.
Socrates, the very
he-
famous scientist.
So
Be
great.
morally correct. Yeah, Socrates. Socrates gonna make him so cry.
Fine, I'm
So wait, what
outvoted.
did
Nico's outvoted. Good.
I'm
All
outvoted.
right.
because I voted Invisible Man.
Yep.
No, Hobbit.
Because they would. I think people
Hobbit
would.
won.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
both
Hobbit
voted
won.
Hobbit.
Yeah, we're clear on that.
But oh, I see what I forgot that it's X. X is bad, not X marks the spot. I'm like, no, Kevin,
No.
go to the other one.
X
You
is good
viewer.
for us. X is bad for the faces.
All right,
I don't
kids.
know.
Now we're talking about Godzilla versus the Mummy.
Wait, but don't we want to update the thing so we can see it?
Oh, hold on. I got you.
Hey, beautiful. Okay, so Godzilla versus the Mummy. I actually think this movie exists.
Very close to it.
What a
I would
size
believe.
disparity.
Which would make a better open world game?
Godzilla, because you just
Godzilla.
smash everything.
And there's Monster Island, so there's lots of other. Even if you don't include King Kong, there's lots of other monsters. So yeah.
Because I mean, if the Mummy were like Persona, when you get to Christmas on the calendar, your game's over. You're just unwrapped.
Yeah.
I love that what you guys both went with is it's an open world game where you star as Godzilla or the Mummy.
No, you explore their world.
I went with Godzilla. I'm just like,
Oh,
And
I
with the
know.
Mummy, with the idea you've only got
Oh,
a
I know.
year before you get unwrapped.
Yeah, I got that for him.
but
I
wait, so
know.
then with the Godzilla game, what's even more ridiculous is I'm thinking of it like classic overworld sprite walking around the world. I'm just like,
Just destroying shit. I would take the Godzilla one a step further, and it would be, it would be a kaiju game. And so, you finally make your way over to New York, and there's the Cloverfield monster, just like a hyperactive ADHD American kid that won't shut up and just keeps at you while you're just like a respectful, tourist from abroad.
wait, so are you saying that Cloverfield is the tattooed teenage alien fighters of Beverly Hills of its genre?
No. don't think he
Tattooed
did.
teenage alien fighter, like off the coast of Coney Island. Yeah.
Like the yelling American counterpart to the actual Japanese creation.
Yep.
All right, Kevy, what do you think?
Yeah.
You're definitely sticking with Godzilla?
Yeah.
And TK, you're going Godzilla?
I'm going Godzilla.
Slam dunk, Godzi. Godzi, look it
mummies.
up.
We love to see it. We love it for Godsey. All right. Now, between X-Men and the Muppets, which crew would you rather spend the day at an amusement park with?
These are both crews at amusement parks. Are you asking if I want to go to Universal Islands of Adventure or Hollywood Studios? Jeez. Okay, then here's my question.
Yeah.
Is it like free roaming Muppets and free roving mutants?
You're going with them. So it is not the park that they
Okay.
are featured in. It could be Funtown, Splashtown, USA here in Saco, Maine, but you're going with Kermit and Miss Piggy or with Cyclops and Jean Grey.
I'm going to go with the Muppets.
Of course
And
you're
here's
going
why.
with Muppets.
Because if the Muppets get into a fight in the middle of the theme park with somebody, it's going to result in hilarity. And like one of the attractions will cave in on itself and no one will be hurt in a very amusing way. But if the X-Men come,
You're definitely getting hate crimed.
everyone will die.
Yeah.
There is a certain amount of blood dragged across the theme park.
Yeah. And you're just there. You're collateral damage. Like that's not good for you. Even like make it adult Muppets and you're still like, even if they get too drunk, hilarity still ensues.
Hilarity still ensues, but the minute Magneto is like, this seems a little against me, to kill everyone.
I mean, the good thing is we have one of the world's largest wooden roller coasters, so we are safe against his emotional tantrums. But I frankly just want to see what Miss Piggy would do in the Astrosphere.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
The Astrosphere is this great ride that I'm going to take you guys on. It's just like you spin around in this dome room that does like an 80s projection laser light show, but like with images, and ELO's Fire on the Deep plays while you do it. It doesn't go that fast. It doesn't go up and down. You just spin around. It is the stupidest, greatest ride in the history of amusement parks.
I'm in.
And I want to go with Miss Piggy. So I think we all agree that it's the Muppets.
It's the Muppets.
The Muppets. Now, in the case of Star Wars versus Halloween, which would make the better prom theme?
There you go. I wanna go Star Wars. I want to go Star Wars.
This is tough. Like, on the one
They're
hand,
both truly heinous.
awful.
They're
I-
gruesome. They're truly gruesome.
I feel like people would get into the Star Trek theme prom in a way
Wars.
that they would be like, I really worked on like putting together my aesthetic. Whereas I feel like at the Halloween prom, I could convince everybody they're about to be murdered. And that's fun.
Like the Halloween prom, it's just going to be 180 guys in Mike Myers masks and no deodorant. No effort put in whatsoever.
And how many guys
That's
are going to
gonna be-
be? They're not wearing it. Okay, yeah.
And what else are you then? If you're not Mike Myers and if you're not Stupid Judy, who are you? You're no one. What's
And,
your
like,
name?
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Nancy Myers?
Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Laurie. Jamie Lee Curtis. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Judy Greer.
No, there used to be an attraction in Epcot called the Ellen's Universe of Energy, and in it, Jamie Lee Curtis played a very memorable character named Judy. And at one point in the film of it, Ellen goes, "Stupid Judy," and "Stupid Judy"
her.
is hugely a theme park meme. Like,
Okay.
Disney folk definitely say "Stupid Judy" a lot.
I got you.
Yeah, the number of guys that would joke, ha ha ha, I'm like just wearing this jumpsuit, oh, it would be the dumbest, grossest prom. I love a goth prom, but I don't think I have that in me. Whereas I do think a lot of young women and young men would feel empowered by, some guys might be dumb and be like, haha, I'm in a robe. But like, I actually think a lot of guys would be like, no, I'm in like a cool robe. And like, there are so many cultures whose native looks are a little bit closer to some of the fashions from Star Wars than perhaps American cultures are. So there's a lot of room for exploration and authenticity of ethnicity that a Star Wars prom would afford that I don't know that pumpkins and knives afford.
All right, I'm giving it to Star Wars. You've made your case. So, FF versus Middle Earth. Which series lead would make the better product spokesperson?
Okay, but here's the question:
Oh,
is it like Frodo or is it like Saruman?
I mean, Frodo is the series lead. Baggins is the series lead of the Middle Earth. It's either Bilbo or it's Frodo.
okay.
So it's either a Baggins or a Toretto. I guess it depends on the product, because like if a Toretto was like, "Yo, eat this corn," I don't think I would. But if a Baggins was like, "Yo, eat this corn," I would. If it was like, "Yo, buy this car," and it was a Toretto, I would. But like if a Hobbit came up to me and was like, "Oh, don't you want to buy me car?" I would be like, "No."
They're not Irish by default. Also, I think it would be fucking hilarious if a Hobbit tried to sell me a car. Are you kidding me?
I also think it'd be really funny if Vin Diesel tried to sell me corn.
Hey, I really think we should buy this car. It's a really good car.
I'm no longer Vin Diesel. I'm Vin Ethanol.
Exactly. I was going
Corn.
for make ethanol gas for his car.
Yep.
Vin
Vin Corn.
Mexico.
Corn Diesel.
Honestly, I think I would probably rather buy something from Dom Toretto because they do funny things where they take off his clothes. And I would just be constantly waiting for the advertisement that's like, "I finally got the ring back and I'm going to destroy all of you." So, like, I got to go Fast and Furious.
The Cornicles of Riddick.
Guys, I don't think corn was part of the original prompt, but shouldn't it have been?
Maybe
Shocked.
it really should have been.
The real friends were the corn we made along the way.
The children of the corn.
Kevo, do you have a vote on this brilliant question?
Did you vote? Am I the tiebreaker?
No, I have not voted yet.
Do you know what you're voting?
Yeah, I think I'm voting Hobbit.
Yeah, I'm also gonna vote Hobbit.
Yeah.
I don't think Vin should be spokespersoning anything.
I
Weird.
agree with
when
that.
I wave my giant hairy feet at you guys, you don't automatically buy what I want.
Well, I also want to see Muppets versus Hobbits.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, right.
So for Godzilla versus the Muppets, there we go. Which would make the better 60s style sitcom?
I'm like trying to imagine Godzilla coming home from a day in advertising, tripping over the ottoman.
Hey, I'm Godzilla, and I've had a rough day at work.
I'm also imagining Piggy being like, "I want to be in the show," and Kermit being like, "Oh, Piggy, you got some splaining to do," and Gonzo being like, "They wrote into my contract that I have to be fatter than Piggy."
The idea of Godzilla in a honeymooner situation feels real dark to me.
Right to the moon seems really dark when the guy is 92 feet tall.
Yeah.
He can touch the moon. All right, I got to give it to Muppets because Godzilla is kind of threatening.
Yeah.
If I know I've got Kevo's vote on Muppets, I'll vote Godzilla.
Fair enough.
Star Wars versus Middle Earth.
God, and I hope it's a
Fascinating.
really bad question, too, so everyone's really mad at us.
It is. It's a really bad question. Which series lead would make, or leads multiple, would make the better IRL BFF? I didn't edit these as well as I should have, Nico.
This is what happens when I give you exactly enough questions.
I just trusted you.
You know what? Okay, hear me out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give it to Star Wars because
Yes.
anybody in The Hobbit could be swayed by the ring, but I feel like most people in the Star Wars universe, they're not tempted to be dark-sided.
So on the one hand, sure. On the other hand, think of our series leads. They're all kind of garbage people.
Okay, yes, but then who to pick?
Garbage friends, anyway. Like, Han Solo's not a good friend. Princess Leia, she's the shit, but she also just seems like she would not be a fun person to hang out with. Luke is a total dork.
You guys know how I take everything too seriously and I ruin every joke and over-explain it like dramatically and very seriously till nobody wants to hang out with me? That's Leia.
Also, she's just kind of like, no, you're the idiot.
That's what I'm saying.
And then the young kids aren't any better. Finn and Poe are just constantly dealing with the sexual tension between the two of them, meaning that even if you just try and like go to a Dave and Buster's, it turns weirdly sexual.
Did you guys have
That's
to
Poe's
sit in the
fault.
back seat together under a blanket? Even if nothing happened, did you have to make it weird?
Shut up, Ray.
Ray's got this like she's one for one thing.
I was Rose saying "Shut up, Ray."
She's been third wheeling it with these two for years now and is miserable. But also, she's constantly like, "What am I gonna do for work? Who am I?" I think all of the hobbits just seem like they get high all day.
Right, but that's just all the hobbits. What about all the other people that they have to interact with? I don't think there is as much overlap between the characters of Middle-earth as there is between characters of Star Wars, as evidenced by the fact that Legolas says 2 words to Frodo the entire adventure.
Is that for real?
You have mentioned that before.
I don't think these people were friends. I think they were all here to do a job.
A fellowship.
And once the fellowship was over, bye-bye.
Like the cast of the OC, they just never talked again.
Oh,
So,
at least they're doing that podcast now.
this a bunch of Star Wars votes?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Deet, 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 deet. Beautiful.
Ooh, okay.
As it should have been. Which series, if forced to, could you keep on repeat forever? Star Wars.
Star Wars. Wait.
Nope. My vote's definitely Star Wars.
Okay, here's why I'm going to say Muppets ultimately.
Okay.
You get a caper, you get a Hollywood fun time, you get a literary classic, you get a Christmas movie, you get a weird space adventure, you get Jason Segel, you get that other one. So, there's so much variety within the Muppet filmography, and for the most part, the Star Wars filmography, while really great, if it's the only thing you watch, will bum you out. And
it's just all Star Wars too. There's a lot more variety in the Muppets oeuvre. One time
I watched nothing but Buffy for like 2 weeks straight. I mean, literally just kept marathoning disc after disc. And my friends were like, Nico, are you ready to go? It's time to go out. And I was like, oh, you're right. Hold on. Clothes. And like realized that I couldn't do magic and I wasn't Willow and I couldn't just change my clothes. And that was a sign to me that sometimes you can spend so long watching something that you just don't think clearly. I would not want to know what a brain that's watched literally nothing but Anakin's descent into madness and then his weird coach that like kind of molested him with darkness's return. I don't want to know what that does to a person after like 15 years.
Yeah.
I respect where you two are coming from. I'm going to be that person. So, but I hear your vote. We're giving it to Muppets.
Because they did Star Wars. And they may yet do more Star Wars.
It's true.
So,
It's true. All right. We are on side 2.
hey.
Might I suggest we take a short break?
Oh, yeah. Well,
And
I'm about to say, and while we do that, because you're right, we should take a short break and continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just super excited.
Yeah.
So we've got some really cool stuff coming up that you're not going to want to miss. We're going to be talking about some cool movies. We are moving to a slightly new format where every Sunday we're going to be talking about major TV programming that we watched that week. You know, kind of what we've been doing, but a little more focused. Every Sunday is going to be that TV bump. And then Saturdays are going to have some cool special thing we've been really enjoying. This week, it just kind of turned out that there was nothing particular going on, but with Little Mermaid coming out and Fast and Furious coming out, there's just been so many major and Muppets and Spider-Verse and Star Wars and MCU. There's been so many things that we've been covering that are so major franchisey. It just made sense to get all super major franchisey with it. So it was just kind of a good time to play a fun game.
Simple as that.
All right, Kevo, you got that commercial queued up?
Yeah.
All right.
Queued up and ready to go.
Like, subscribe, come back after the break. Commercial! We are back for
We're still back.
half two half, second half, round part two. Ooh, a little bit of Final Fantasy 13 in there. I think just so you guys know, it was really close to what is your favorite like magic weapon, but I wasn't sure how to get like this person uses this in this franchise from like a wide enough breadth. But it was really just so I could try and make Gunblades win.
We did talk about that one for a while, and I think at some point we have to do that because with enough preparation, we've got them. And of course, my vote is going to be for the Master Sword, which I still have not found in Tears of the Kingdom yet. But, in the meantime, we're talking about the Tremors and the Transformers, the Trug Gang.
Oh, just one moment, though. I just want to share with the audience,
please,
the thing I would like to see win. I'm sending it to Kevo so that hopefully he would be able to get it up on the screen at his convenience. But that is one of the things that I love about the nature of what we do, where we talk about the things that influence us and make us who we are. I had an incredible experience with my wonderful husband, that guy, just earlier today, where he shared with me that the series of Chronicles of Narnia books that he had are actually the ones that my grandmother had. And so the ones I read are the ones that his family read as kids. And just how influential something like a book binding can be on you. The idea that the Navidson record is the second thing in House of Leaves has so transformed my understanding of the world. And I really, you are made of these things that influence you. And one of the defining influences on me, it's so funny because I only really got into gaming to impress a dude. He was basically like, we can only bang so often. You literally need to have anything else going on ever in common with me. And I'm not going to learn any of your things I'm selfish by. And so ultimately, I was like, no, I'll get into gaming. And it was magically the right thing. It was perfect. And Final Fantasy is the series that has stuck with me the most. And so things like the Gunblade and Lightning, they really do define my understanding of the universe. And I am just such a big fan of this design and this character, as well as the lore of Final Fantasy. But there is something so unique about this design, and being able to find weapons, magic, universes, characters, worlds, systems of magic, systems of rules and laws, systems of order and organization. All of these things are so endemic to what make fiction so unique. And it's why we're exploring these franchises today. We're not just saying, these things have run a long time, let's talk about them, because then we should be talking about some of the incredible work done on soap operas by some of the hardest working writers and actors, whether or not you think they're tawdry. It's not just about longevity, it's about cultural impact and personal impact. So that's kind of the magic of playing the music that influenced us while talking about the things that influenced us, while voting on random hypotheticals about the things we love. And I just want to thank not just the audience, but these two amazing gentlemen, two guys I love so much, for coming with me on this journey and for influencing me, because I definitely picked some of these with you guys in mind. Less me, more you. So without further ado, unless you boys got something, let's get back to the bracketeering. TBH.
The Truz and the Truz.
I know nothing about Tremors. TBH. I've seen two of them. And they were at parties more than they were I've seen these films. But there are in fact 7 of each. And they are, they are beloved franchises. That's for freaking sure. And they're both franchises that have had TV shows.
There's a Tremors TV show?
There was.
Yeah.
For a few years.
Sci-Fi Channel.
So the question is, which would be better as a setting for a modern reinterpretation of Shakespeare, a la 10 Things I Hate About You?
I can see it so good. Imagine that there's a fault line through town. that, oh wow, okay, Kevo's done.
Oh, were you gonna go Tremors?
I mean, I'm torn because yes, Transformers
You've seen
allows for
2.
some very funny things, but the idea of like a specific batch of monsters, I don't know. I guess ultimately I do think Transformers is the better choice because, Autobots and Decepticons, Capulets and Montagues, Optimus Prime and who's the bad guy again?
Megatron.
Megatron, right. Megatron for Darkwing Duck fans. I just 2 seconds. I'm so sorry. I finally read the first 4 issues of the new run of Darkwing Duck. Cried. Literally cried. Is it treading new ground? No, it feels a lot like the previous run, which is to this date one of the most perfect encapsulations I've ever read in my entire life of anything. And I don't know that it's as strong as the Gargoyles comic, which is coming out. And I mean, evidently the Gargoyles is just like the indie book right now. Congratulations to Kevin Weissman on the hard-fought Greg. Thank you. Congratulations to Greg Weissman. Is Kevin Weissman the guy from Alias?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Marshall.
Hey, Marshall. So congratulations to Greg Weissman on a hard-fought career and really achieving something that he deserves. But gosh darn it, am I so grateful that there is another run of Darkwing Duck that is just as special and magical as the previous run. I will praise James Silvani's name forever. I guess I give it to Transformers.
You on board for Transformers, Kevo?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's gotta be. I mean, come on. And then next up, of course, we have Scream and Terminator.
And that's 6 and 6. And I do also want to point out, once again, this is another series that's also had TV shows. And actually, looking back, Godzilla has had TV programming. There has been Batman TV programming, Muppets and Superman, X-Men and Star Trek. There has been Star Wars and Spider-Man on television. There has been Fast and Furious animated on streaming. There has been Tremors and Transformers and Terminator and Scream all on television programming. So one of the things that this franchises thing really proves is if you're successful enough in one media venture, they're going to try and find room for you in another. And I think that's a pretty impressive feat.
And I think it's something that we have come to expect now of franchising. And I think it speaks to the longevity and expansiveness of a particular series if they can support something like that, even just for the fun of delving into it for a season or two. We Psycho, the Bates Motel series really was fantastic, but it wasn't an enormous commercial success. But I do think it bore out that there was something there worth exploring. And while I know that the other side of that is always like, do we often go too far and try and milk blood from a stone? Yes, absolutely. But I think when we do that, it's when we find that there was never anything there to begin with that it's really a problem. I don't know.
No, I think you're exactly right. I'm sorry, I was swallowing.
No. That wasn't because nobody answered. It's more just because I was kind of like waxing about just the nature of all these things.
I'm really glad you brought up that there was a Bates Motel show, because including Psycho was why I didn't include the Hannibal universe. I knew that the Hannibal universe also had a strong number of films and a TV show presence, but what kept me from including the Hannibal franchise is that I felt that the Hannibal franchise kind of warrants a discussion that's a little bit different, because so many people have such a visceral reaction to the extremities and oddities of the Hannibal universe. I feel like if you're a fan of most of these things, you tend to be a fan of most of these things. But it really seemed to me, as an outsider who appreciates the films a lot, that the Hannibal universe, you like the movies or the TV show or some of the movies or the books, but you do not like it all.
That's fascinating because that really is true, and there's sort of a lack of a franchise there because Hannibal didn't have the rights to Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal, the TV show, didn't have the rights to Silence of the Lambs. That original Red Dragon is divorced from, or Manhunter, which is just Red Dragon. Red Dragon is Manhunter retold. They're now kind of rebooting it, so it's not a cohesive universe the way a lot of these things are. Even Psycho, like even if you check out the Wikipedia article, the Psycho films and TV show are all kind of tied together one way or the other.
And I think that's the magic of when a franchise has run so long. So, all right, Kevo, you're definitely saying Transformers?
Could you remember the question? I'm sorry.
No. We got that one. We're on to the next one.
Well, but remind me, what was the question?
The last question was
Shakespeare.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
okay.
We went with Transformers.
I'm with you.
Now we're on to Scream and Terminator, and the question is, which would you rather see a drag show of? I mean, either way, there's amazing reveals. The queen that figures out how to tear away the screen mask to reveal themselves,
Nina Bonina.
but then tear off themselves to reveal another screen mask under that. Yes, you are right. It is probably Nina Bonina Brown, but
it's not very good. Don't pay any attention to it. It's pretty terrible.
We're all against her, you know. She's not really the killer, but we make her feel like she is.
We made her the killer. It is our fault. We gave her the knife.
Just like Billy Loomis's mother.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Ooh, should be a great Billy Loomis's mother. Yeah, Scream.
Yeah, and can I say why I would go with Scream? I feel like there's not enough definitive visual characters in the Terminator franchise outside of 3 or 4. But honestly, Neve Campbell was like someone that, like, I think many young gay creatures of any of the multitude of genders like looked at and was like, she's strong. I want to be like her. And I wonder how much of that was Sydney. And I wonder how much of that was simply surviving Party of 5 for 6 seasons.
What was her Party of 5 name?
Claudia.
Claudia was
right. Yeah. Oh my God, this is killing me.
Bailey. Oh God damn it.
And like I've seen literally every episode, but not in 100 years.
Me too.
Laura, Rebecca.
No,
I want to say like Julia. I really want to say it was Julia.
It is Julia, yes. Yeah. Julia, who was the opposite of Sydney insofar as she was so weak.
Sister's name.
And she was getting murdered by life at all times.
Billy.
So I do feel a lot better that I remember that I somehow got there. Good for me. You know, one of the things about the Salinger family was that it was very Angela's Ashes for teenagers.
Yes.
And I think between Angela's Ashes for teenagers and Scream, which was horror for a new generation, the idea of seeing so many queens, give it up to Neve Campbell, who is like, I'm not trying to come for anybody, but maybe Neve Campbell isn't Meryl Streep. She's not like literally the greatest actress of all time, but I don't think she ever gives less than her best. And I think her best is always good enough. And like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, just because Neve Campbell holds a special place in my heart for the rest of my life, and because Courtney Cox rocks those bangs.
Ooh,
I mean,
right.
When we are talking about Sydney, when we're talking about Tatum, when we're talking about Gale Weathers, the looks alone for just the women, let alone whether it is queens in boy drag or some amazing drag kings doing Stu and Billy, doing like a Stu and Billy number.
Jerry O'Connell at the literal hottest of his entire career.
Unequivocally. There's just so much there, and Terminator also really does have some cool characters.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, absolutely iconic. The Terminator itself, again, Schwarzenegger's Terminator would be like the ultimate drag king role. But even, like if we're really gonna get into it, Shirley Manson just serving cunt in that TV show. Who was the
Summer Glau?
No, that was the movie.
Oh, no, Summer Glau was in the TV show.
Was she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so was the guy from Heroes who would come out during
Thomas Dekker.
Thomas Dekker,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And Lena Headey.
I also just want to say that, like, Lucy DeLuca, if you want to cosplay Terminator for me, anytime.
All right, that's insane. We're giving it to Scream and we're ending this conversation now.
Terminator would be great as part of a larger show that had
Yes.
other franchises in it, but I don't think it could carry its own show.
And what if
Whereas-
anybody could put together a cabaret like that?
You would want Sarah, John, a Terminator or two, and then I mean I think that's really it. There's no other real characters. What's
It'd
his
be
name?
a great medley drag performance.
Yes.
Medley even.
Yeah.
But not a full show.
Yeah, but
What's
Scream
whose name?
absolutely.
From X-Files.
Yes.
Have you seen
Robert
this boy?
Patrick.
Yeah, Robert Patrick.
Scream absolutely. So many iconic women. Some great.
Each victim would get a number, basically.
I'm glad the next one didn't get the drag challenge.
God, what? I don't have the questions in front of me.
Jurassic Park and Shrek. Ah,
Oh,
No.
what would you
But
pick?
you know what? You want to know what the question is
Jurassic
for those
Park.
two? Which would you rather be the first thing alien life sees from Earth?
Shrek.
Shrek,
because it
unequivocally
shows that we
Shrek.
can learn how to change and that things on our planet look different and all have sentient life. And
Not
we-
look what we do to animals.
And it's like, it actually shows a continuity of sentience and understanding and development of culture, because you actually see the idea of what is considered citizenry evolve throughout the Shrek franchise. And then the decision to include further details on Puss in Boots, which is a minor thing, reveals that we have interest in small things because our species contains elements that you would never expect. I actually think that, like, it's not like when the British sent Blur Song 2 into space, so that was the furthest thing we were beaming into space. But there's worse that humanity could do than show a Shrek or two.
Also, I would like alien life just to know that we're a bunch of silly little gooses. They're either going to just kill the shit out of us, regardless of what they see on our television screens, or they're going to be really heartwarmed that we are just a silly little goose species, and they will take care
silly
of us.
goose.
We're just silly geese.
Silly goose.
So I think it's important. Jurassic Park really shows our horrible ambitions and that we keep giving Chris Pratt work, and that ultimate Nepo baby Bryce Dallas Howard can do
Runs
whatever
in
she
heels.
wants. That too. So
She
yeah,
should just focus on Star Wars.
it's a nah
Also-
for me, dog.
Both of these had TV shows.
Yep.
Yeah, Shrek. Okay. Next one.
Give it a Shrek.
Oh,
Love
Kevin,
it.
I mean, you voted too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like, the nature of Shrek is actually just like, Kevin, do you Shrek?
The first two, and then not a Shrek after that. And I wonder, is that because the ones after that were after we were together? Kind of, yeah. The third one came out around when we met, and I guess I just didn't see that one, and then we were together, and you're not an especially Shrekker either.
Meanwhile, I love the
so-
second one, so that's really funny.
Second one's good. Soundtrack is good. First one is cute.
Interesting. And then do you Shrek the musical?
I have never Shrek the musical.
There's an official performance, I think, up on YouTube. We
I
can check out.
know.
Let's check that out.
Yeah. There's a few different musicals, but that's definitely on the list.
All right, well, we're going to watch Shrek the musical and let you know how we feel about it as a crew. It's going to happen. All right, Alien
Speaking
Psycho.
of musicals.
Good luck, because Alien is my absolute favorite film of all time, so...
And the question will not, that's not going to change
So,
anything for you.
Between Norman Bates and Psycho, Norman Bates in Psycho and the Xenomorph, I'm not sure who's sexier. Like, seriously, that man is breathtaking in that
Depends
film.
on the Norman Bates.
Yeah. What's the
Oh,
cue?
Anthony Perkins.
Yeah,
What?
obviously.
Anthony Perkins.
Well, there's others.
Yeah, but that's
that creepy little kid. It counts. So
from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the question though, the real question, the actual question, which has heroes you relate to more?
Alien.
Unequivocally Alien.
Alien, yeah. I was like, do I run away from serial killers? No, I hide from gender-hating monsters.
Gorgeous poster, though.
Yeah, man, Mondo has done some such beautiful posters over the years. Unfortunately, if you are at all a Mondo fan, you are already aware that the minute these things go on sale, they sell out that minute. And then they go on eBay for $7,000 million. And then a week later, you will never find it on eBay ever again.
I love this one because it looks like a dwarf. This is the beard and mustache, and this is the nose, and these are big bushy eyebrows. And then there's beady little eyes.
I see the dwarf, but I also feel like he's got on Catboy ears.
I love all of this. This was actually really tough because so much Xenomorph stuff leans toward like how funny is it that it's sexy, and like that's not my Xenomorph. So like I wanted one that really showcased part of the life cycle that was interesting. My favorite version of the Xenomorph is actually the face hugger. I think it's the sweetest. I just want to hug it. It's a baby, but I do love little baby Xenomorph babies. I've got a couple of plushes of them. I actually have like a plush of every version of the life cycle. So I have the egg, the chest burster. No, I don't have the chest burster. That's the one I'm missing.
I mean, and the fact of the matter is, the psycho heroes and the protagonists of that are usually people who are also not good people. And the whole point is they encounter this person who, there but for the grace of years of abuse, would be a good person. Norman Bates is ultimately a good, charming guy who has been so abused that he's not actually, that goodness is a facade, but it's sort of a recollection to the person he meant to be, where, the people that he encounters are innocent insofar as they have not done murder, but they're not good people. And, it kind of goes beyond that zone of like, oh, we're all flawed, we're all imperfect, which is much more the Alien heroes thing. Ripley is a flawed person, but ultimately she is a hero because she's willing to fight and stand her ground and save her crew, and ultimately to sacrifice her beautiful child for the safety of Winona Ryder. Mistake, maybe, who can say?
Well, and two things I want to say to that. Number one, on the subject of Alien, this Predator poster over way on the right is actually the matching one to the Alien poster that I was referencing, where the alien looks kind of sexy.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see where this, but imposed on the alien body by virtue of the alien body's form, automatically is sort of a sexual position for it.
Is it facing the other way, like bookends?
No.
Oh.
And I think it's a really good design. I just want to give props to Mondo for having matching pieces. And actually, I wanted to say something in the vein of what you're saying, where there's sort of like ultimate fundamental truths about certain franchises. Just to bring it back to Gargoyles for a second, I have no idea why. But Keba, when you were saying that one of the things is that Gargoyles is dealing with a lot of like police discussion right now, something that's really interesting is that the Gargoyles themselves represent the ultimate manifestation of police responsibility. They understand that their job is to be protectors and guiders, and they take taking a life very seriously, which is why using the Gargoyles as a comparative point for police policing is actually a really important point of comparison. And it's actually one of the things that I think makes the Alien universe so unique. Nobody in the Alien universe outside of the Colonial Marines, who are the main focus of Aliens and not much else, actually are moralist people. Alien is freighters. Alien 3 is a prison colony. Alien 4 happened, but it's some combination of mercenaries and robots and idiots. I mean, like idiots on purpose. Like, I mean, they literally play up how stupid some of these characters are. Prometheus is a bunch of brilliant scientists who can't figure out to run to the right. And I will never discuss Covenant again under any circumstances if I can help it. But
Jesse Smollett in the shower.
Oh God, dude. Well,
Got it.
Maybe he's going to say the shower beat him up. Who knows? But I think the main thing, it pelted me. And I think the main thing is that that's what makes the alien heroes different. They're actually people who don't ascribe to a way of life that is imparting justice. They're not in it for justice. They're in it for survival. Whereas when you compare that to the characters running around in the Psycho universe, they're literally seeking only to escape for themselves. There's no sense of, if I stop this serial killer, I'm saving humanity. It's stopping Norman Bates. Whereas Aliens heroes have a sense of greater responsibility, which sets them apart.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. And yeah, I think in general, we're pretty clear that we relate to the heroes of Aliens more.
All right, let's keep moving.
On to the next. We are talking about Mission Impossible and Pirates of the Caribbean.
These are at 6 for Mish and 5 for Pi.
And is that 6 including the 2 that are about to come out?
I believe this only counts released films.
Okay, well, there's 2 more left. So it was so weird to me. The preview for the next one coming up came on in the theater before Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was kind of like Fast and Furious, where I guess somewhere I had seen that other ones had come out. I mean, I knew, but I have not thought about the Mission Impossible franchise since 1999's Mission Impossible 2, with a soundtrack featuring Tori Amos's version of Mano de Carnaval, one of the greatest songs of all time, played by one of the greatest artists of all time. I really had not thought about Mission Impossible since then, and is absolutely insane to me that there have been this many movies and like all kinds of storylines happening with them and, continuity. The original one has John Voight as like a spry man who is possibly a threat. So it's sort of insane to me that, all these years, it's all 30 years later almost, and we're still doing this.
Yeah, holy crap.
It really just seems absurd.
The first 2 came out pretty close together, like you said, and then there was a lengthy gap between 2 and 3.
Huge gap.
Moderate
Big
gap
between 3 and
between
4.
3 and 4.
Yep.
Pretty decent gap between 4 and 5, and then in the last 9 years there have been 4, and that's some people would probably want to blame the MCUification of cinema. I blame Tom Cruise.
I was going to say, I entirely blame Tom Cruise, who, he was looking for this meal ticket long before anybody.
He doesn't even need a meal ticket, though. He was looking for a hobby, I think. Because he doesn't need the money. He just wants it.
Well, but I think
he wants it to be his, and I think that's why he's doing the same thing with Top Gun now, where that's now going to be a franchise, because,
I think
he wants to do it.
When you have so much money that there is just more money, there isn't like more money, there's just more money. I think you need something to feel powerful. You need
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that expresses that achievement. So I don't know that it's
Yes.
just that he wants it. I think he's looking to express new achievement. And I
Yeah,
would
that's
love
fair.
for the critics to have an opportunity to blame everything in their oh so precious to blame it on the MCU way, because comics are, of course, the root of all evil. Good job, Joseph McCarthy. I think the reality is a little bit more that you can take a look at the Alien franchise and the Terminator franchise, which both produced action films starring the same people across more than 20 years. So I think it's just that Tom Cruise is looking to do it human. With the Terminator, it's a non-human character. Ripley has been, of course, elevated to non-human levels.
Yeah.
But Ethan Hunt is just Ethan Hunt. He is just Angelina Jolie's father on TV.
As far as we know. Is he a cyborg now? I wouldn't know.
So what is the question for this one?
The question for this one: which series would make the better themed restaurant?
Pirates of the friggin' Caribbean! No, for real. I don't want somebody like lowering.
You don't want the
down
waiter
the
dropping in
ceilings
from
of
the
my food.
ceiling?
No, I don't want that. I much more want a salty male beer wench and a strong lady captain bringing me my food than I want a short guy with one tooth in the middle dropping from the ceiling going, "Hey, I got your food, but I'm not gay."
I love this dinner!
Like you jump
It's-
in on the couch.
It's tough because of Tom Cruise, because I personally think Mission Impossible in every other way would make the better experience. Pirates of the Caribbean is gross. Johnny Depp is gross. Keira Knightley, weirdly, now is gross to me because of Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not into any of it. I'm only into the one captain with the Cthulhu head
Okay,
of tentacles.
First of all, Joffrey
Yeah.
Rush's Barbosa is perfect.
yeah.
Number one. Number two, yeah, Davy Jones is great because it's Bill Nighy, and that's great. But
Yeah.
it's not all bad because then Javier Bardem is Blackbeard.
Listen,
I wanna
I
say-
already got my C-worthy Javier Bardem coming out in like 2 weeks as a fish dad.
Fish Daddy coming up.
I don't.
I want to kick it back to a previous pairing,
Mhm,
the Fast and Furious one,
mhm.
where I'm thinking about what the theming ultimately the goal is. And I think the bigger problem with Mission Impossible for a themed restaurant is that would be exhausting for a meal. Here's your mission, and you gotta go over here, and this gum is a whole turkey dinner, and this thing is gonna explode.
Drink
Like-
your drink real quick, or it will explode in your hand. Drink
There's-
your drink.
No scenario for a Mission Impossible themed restaurant where you're part of the theming that is not in some way exhausting, but you could just go hang out at a Pirates of the Caribbean pirate den restaurant, and like those people over there are gonna get in a fight, and isn't that entertaining? And no, now it's a song, and like that's all fine, and you know it's clean and safe, like you know that you're not actually in danger in the Mission Impossible dinner. But
Arg, and
It's-
remember to flush your urinal.
do you have to solve a puzzle to get dessert? I don't even know. That's my bigger thing. It sounds like it would be really exhausting.
You constantly have to show covert IDs for everything.
I'm not
All
doing
right.
that.
I mean, it's clear we're giving it to the Pirates restaurant. Also, I think if it were themed after porn parody Pirates, that would be a whole other story. But
Bet.
Well, then we'll get to that question about adult stuff.
exactly, that should be coming up any minute.
God, I hope
now.
it's Predator or Despicable Me. So you either have to say
Triple
you're
X.
attracted to minions or predators.
Triple X
Oh,
is
man,
for
no,
show.
this
That's
is-
the adult version.
This is a great question for this pairing. Which would you prefer as the aesthetic basis for your home's interior design?
Did I write this one or did you?
I wrote this one.
Thank God, because I'm like, I don't remember writing it. It's a great question, but I don't remember writing it, and now I'm worried. Predator would be a lot of animal heads. But
Minions.
Minions would be so much yellow, though.
oh, this is truly ugly. Predator.
I mean, it's got to be Predator. It's just still so bad, but like I can make something great out of it. Minions is like it can't even be great, but I feel like the statement would be really funny.
Worse.
Like the Minions bed that I have that is just like
Hey,
what it
baby.
looks like is a ring of minions holding like a palanquin, and that's what I sleep in.
I
Fully
pictured
unhinged.
one giant minion at the head of the bed, maybe even with its mouth open. I don't
Yep.
know.
It's actually a
but-
Gru-shaped coffin.
Hey,
Yes.
baby, you ready for bada bada?
The house itself is a giant minion head with the eyes as two light-bearing windows, and you walk in through the mouth. Or one. They just have one eye, right? That's their thing.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
you
know.
talked me into minions.
Yeah. So, I am still voting for Predator, but I just think I could make minions work.
I can't. I mean, burn the house down, but I cannot make Predator work more than I cannot make. Unless it's like just the Predator ship aesthetic, no animal carcasses. Maybe. But I can't do all that. I would rather minions than animal carcasses.
I
But
mean,
it's also like-
Officially.
it's
also
Kraven the
like-
Hunter or Hello Kitty. It's terrible.
It's also like animal print, you know, brown
still going
cow,
Predator.
if you will.
Yeah, and like I said, if it's no dead animals, I can say no. I mean, I think you guys both voted Predator, so it doesn't matter.
All right. So now we're talking about Toy Story and the one movie that we have on here that did not get a sexy alternative poster. And the question is, which would you rather watch only as a series of random TikTok shorts?
Okay, let me interact with two things here. Number one, yes, that is correct. I put no effort into the Twilight inclusion. I
Yep.
included it, but I
Rude.
put no effort in.
Yep.
You're all lucky it
Rude.
just wasn't a photo of at every single weight he's ever been at. Jacob, whatever his name is.
Taylor
Yes,
Lautner.
Taylor
Taylor
Lautner.
Lautner. I love him thick. I love him ripped. There is no version of Taylor Lautner that is not truly beautiful. And
Okay.
I just think he's great. Other than that, where are my parents? I'm just gonna vote Toy Story because I included Twilight, but I included it for other people, and if the majority has it, they have it. I included it, but I'm still obstinate.
We know.
So I wrote this question too, and it is because my TikTok is inundated with just like scenes from movies, and if I watch one for too long, it keeps giving me other scenes from the movie, but not in order, not with
No.
context.
So
And
it's like watching
some-
Lost.
Yeah. But in like, 30-second
fun way to
clips
watch.
sometimes. And there are a few movies out there that I'm like, this is my only experience of these movies is just when I get random TikToks of them. There's some movie where Chris Evans has acquired a very smart child.
Yeah.
And then the Waters of Mars lady, who is also in Rome, is like, that's my granddaughter, and I do good at math too, so I'm gonna take it. And then Jenny Slate is like, kids are say the
Who can
darndest
never be
things.
sure?
Who can never really be sure what kids say? I don't know how this movie even exists or what it is about or anything, but I have seen quite a lot of it just in 15-second TikTok clips. And that's what I was getting at here. I'm voting Twilight because I can tell you, when you see things this way, you get so little that you can make it all seem kind of cool in your head. You don't want to get the whole thing, but like, just randomly seeing Kristen Stewart rip a dude's head off is funny. I know the
Just
rest
a
of the movie isn't
5-second
any
clip
good.
of her going, "What?"
Yeah, I don't have to watch
context.
those.
Yeah.
So I'm voting Twilight for this particular question. And please break a tie as desired.
I will also vote Twilight because I want to also include people's reactions and remixes
Yes.
of the film, and I think people reacting to and asking questions about Twilight is a lot funnier than people being pedantic about these scientific laws of Toy Story. Shut the fuck up, it's magic, they're toys, who cares? But hi, I'm Jacob Black and I fell in love with a fetus is hysterical. So
Hysterical, unhinged, perfect in every way. Also, I googled Fat Taylor Lautner and I'm just get it, dude.
Okay.
yeah.
Is there a
Oh,
picture?
Hundy.
Yeah, hold on.
Because, like, I mean, straight up, thick daddy. Like, the first time I saw it, I was like, man, I understand why you have said that being in shape for Twilight was the most miserable experience of your life.
Oh,
Because
fully.
you look so good thick, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm a guy who I don't think I'm quite as handsome at my thickest, right? Which is why I try and stay, a little more in a certain range. But there's plenty of guys who don't feel that way about themselves, and I feel like those guys should absolutely let that thickness show. Because it's all about what you feel good with, right? I'm just vamping for time so we can get to Hot Boys. Oh my god. Like Seth MacFarlane over here. Oh my god. Stupid
He
handsome.
just looks so cute and he has that little smile on, and I just hope he's living his best life.
Yeah, man.
He's a sweetie pie.
I am all for people feeling good about their bodies, whatever they look like.
And also, yeah, that Twilight routine did kind of seem like hell.
Yeah, he has said on more than one occasion it was like the worst experience of his life.
So we're giving it to Twilight for a film to
Ooh.
watch, or a franchise to watch as just TikTok shorts.
That's a great Toy Story poster, man.
Yeah, the one that you had provided for me just didn't work for the format of Bracket
Yeah.
Fight, so I found another one, and I thought it was very cool. I love that, again, Twilight is the only one that gets no good poster. All right, and our final matchup, RoboCop versus Avengers.
This is 4x4 for the record.
The question being, which would make the better playable trading card game?
Avengers, because it is. Sorry, RoboCop, go home.
Kevo, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I really want to agree. I don't know. Part of me wishes that RoboCop had a better shake, but I think it might just be one of those franchises that was of an era, and there was nothing like it. There's nothing quite like it before, and never shall be again.
So here's my argument for RoboCop.
Sure.
The Avengers, we do have Marvel Snap. The Avengers has such a strict setup, and we know so much about the world and the characters that creating a Magic the Gathering-esque game is almost limiting in how much you have to do to stay consistent with Marvel and Disney plans and ideas and knowledge that people have about the characters. RoboCop is in a very different place as a franchise, and also as a film that is meant to be sort of a satire / examination of the justice system and law enforcement.
And Jesus parables.
And Jesus parables. Yes, there's rebirth. There's a lot to be done with just the concept of being resurrected as a robot cop, and how you might then facilitate that into a card game with like upgrades and the deck building aspect of that I think would be very interesting. So I am going to vote for RoboCop, but I understand if I have not swayed you.
You know what? Can I be honest? One of the things you swayed me with, you actually didn't say, but when you made the argument for RoboCop, my first thought was, how can I address this idea and be positive on it? And my first thought was like, well, what if you upgrade RoboCop? What if you're always playing as a RoboCop?
Right.
And you upgrade your character over and over again, so you could be like a non-weapony RoboCop. You could be like a subdue them RoboCop.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Be Robo EMT.
I'm still voting Avengers, but I like your pitch.
That's okay. I think, just, everybody, I encourage you to pray on it, and we'll develop the RoboCop trading card game together. But for now, the Avengers trading card game is called Marvel Snap, and you should only play it for an hour or two a day at most.
Jonah. No, not really. He's just he's achieved I forget the term for it, but he's achieved like the highest status, so like he gets the special back.
He is their god now.
Yeah, he's so amazing. He's so talented and so smart and so good at this game. I just wanted to praise his name. So, all right, Transformers versus Scream. This would be the best drag show, Transformers versus Scream.
Which has the villains that you relate to more?
Answer carefully, you'll get put on a list.
So my partner Jake and I have this story that we are developing that is kind of a send-up of Transformers, and it's kind of its own thing, and it's the war between the gay bots and the Fagatrons. And it's become just like a parable about gay culture. I'm going to say Transformers. But, it's tough. I'm going to say Transformers and then immediately take it back because Billy and Stu were a very early gay awakening.
And Billy Loomis's mom, like,
Lori
not
Petty.
to sound disturbed.
Not Lori Petty. The Connors.
Lori
lady.
Metcalf, yeah.
Lori Metcalf,
yeah.
Not to sound disturbed, but like the idea that having your family taken from you would be such a traumatic experience, you could lose touch with reality, versus I was designed to kill everything is a little bit more my speed.
Yeah.
So I probably don't relate to Billy and Stu for the motive, but I can relate to Billy Loomis's mom. But I definitely can't relate
overall of the villains. Scream, like Noel from Scream 3, just a lot of the characters in general.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't really have as much experience with Transformers, so I'm excited for when we are going to be covering it this summer, to perhaps get better acquainted with the motives of Megatron. But I doubt that they are going to be quite as relatable.
We're giving it to Scream. And in the case of Shrek versus Alien, which cast of characters would you rather be in the real world with?
Like, that's the real world, like the TV show.
The TV show. 7 strangers in a house.
I cannot do Shrek. Can you imagine? Donkey! Who left the toilet seat up? And then Donkey just coming in. Me! What?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Shrek.
I couldn't do it for 1 second with Puss in Boots. If that's my choice, or like Ripley and what's his name, who was so fucking hot in the second movie, it defies logic. Why can't I think of the actor's name? He tragically passed. He was in the first seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, but Bill
Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
I guess you're talking about the franchise. I was thinking of just the first one.
If if I can cherry pick my crew,
Yeah.
I want Alien, because I would beat Shrek to death with Donkey, and then I would stab Puss in Boots and skewer him.
Okay.
I agree.
Because I was
if
going to
can,
say,
if
yeah.
I can pick my cast, and I can have the Resurrection Baby. The Resurrection Baby is my Julie the Mormon that I'm just gonna try and fix.
About
and
to say
teach
at
her
least
about the
one.
worlds. She will inevitably disappoint me because she's a garbage person, but I'm really gonna try.
Every cast needs a puck.
Julie.
Yeah.
Because think about how Ruthie turned out.
Yep. And the original Julie from the New York cast, not Heather, because Heather B was an amazing. God, what's her name? Is her name also Julie? Anyway,
I don't know.
The original innocent religious girl from the South in the first Real World turned out great. It's kind of Rachel in San Francisco who ended up marrying a Republican and they have 400 neo-Nazi babies. So, like I said, I'm assigning the role of ultimately disappointment to the hybrid baby, but at least I know that going into this.
Healthy attitude.
See, and I was going to say, I just would never want to live with Lambert.
Yes.
So if we can select who we live with, make sure we've got Bill Paxton, make sure we've got young Tom Skerritt. Okay.
And frankly, I will be taking Winona Ryder.
Call is in the mix.
Call sucks in a great way.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm also taking Logan Marshall Black from Prometheus.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Loading up poor Numi Rapis with a just black oil sperm
Black
baby.
Oil, yep. X-Files Black Oil, yep.
All right. Well, I think we have determined Alien as the winner of this very important question. Pirates and Predators. And the question is, which series leads would make better sports mascots?
The
Predators.
Predators.
Fucking
That
Predators,
sucks.
of course.
Yeah.
The Pirates are, it's too much.
It's too on the nose. It's too real. That exists.
Too many accessories. I don't think it's movement clothes. The Predator whole setup is that you need to be athletically functional so you can chase things and kill them, which I think translates very well into like backhand springs.
Oh yeah, and like general sportingery.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I can't wait to finish this up, but we're going to take one more very short break, come back, close this baby out. One of the things that's really cool is we've made so many episodes of this show and our related content, like the previous incarnation, X is for Podcast, HTML, the Billy Club, and more, that we have multiple commercials to run because Kevo is the best producer in the world. But the other thing that I want to encourage you all to do is check out that awesome back catalog. If you like any of the stuff we're discussing here, we've talked about a ton of it in the back catalog. So you can find that whether it's X's for Show Live, X's for Podcast, HTML, the Billy Club, or more. Like, subscribe, and we can't wait to hear from you. Check us out on our socials. Kevo, you got that one more time, I want to thank the amazing team here at X's for Podcast for always encouraging me to work on my own arrangements of some of the amazing material we cover. And then it gives us an awesome opportunity to play it back. You know, I only wish that there was a fourth Power Rangers movie out right now so that I could have included it on this list because it is such a franchise that is deserving of our time and attention. Hopefully, always and forever. Once and forever, once and again,
Once and always.
once and always. I didn't even get there. Once and always leads to, it does not matter, but hopefully it leads to a whole lot more things that do matter. So here's to Power Rangers and all of the ways it is an amazing program. Just commenting on the music from our commercial a moment ago because it's clearly right behind me. So all right.
So between Twilight and the Avengers, which would be just as much fun in a language you don't understand?
The Avengers.
Punch.
Punch.
Yeah.
I will say that last movie where Kristen Stewart is just ripping dudes' heads off could give Avengers a run for its money, but the rest of them aren't like that. They're very dull and stupid.
It would be funny like at 3 o'clock in the morning or if you're drunk. To be like, what the fuck is this movie that I'm watching? Especially because
it really
Twilight
is just that last one. The rest of them are not any good.
Well, and I think like the first one, you're watching that movie in a foreign language, so you have no idea what's going on, and then all of a sudden this guy is sparkling and he's jumping around and he's attacking animals, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? That would be funny, but for like a top to bottom, start to finish, enjoyable experience,
like you can't get off the plane.
You could follow Avengers a lot better. You would enjoy trying to figure out the plot a lot more than Twilight, for sure.
Okay, so between Scream and Alien, which would make a better 8-bit classic video game?
Oh,
I mean, there is an Alien 8-bit classic video game. This is tough. It would be a very similar game, just with different skins.
I think you could sell the intensity and the romanticism of an Alien a little bit easier than you could capture the mundanity and the slice of life of the world of Scream. Scream is any setting. And in that way, Scream is kind of like playing maybe Mother. But because Alien is so dynamic, it's sort of like Duke Nukem, where no matter how stupid the game is, it's visually different than the world outside your door of Mother.
And I also think Alien would be really fun to see in sort of a Mario style 8-bit where like it's got the cool world map that's sort of a galaxy and the different things are planets or something. Scream would be a little bit more basic, a little more on the nose. So I think Alien would be very fun.
My contention would be that you could make it sort of like a Stardew Valley-esque. There could be like a high school dating sim aspect to the Scream game that would be really fun and interesting. But I do hear you. Alien just kind of rolls off the page a lot easier.
Yeah.
So, all right. And now, between Predator and Avengers, which series would you rather have to dress in the style of for the rest of your life?
Avengers. You can say Predator.
Okay, yeah, Predator. I want to wear my conquests.
And just a loincloth, I know.
I am going to go with Predator as well because I love many things about the MCU, but the fashion aesthetics are killing me.
Not only do I agree with you, it actually underlines an kind of like a difficulty that the MCU is going to have trouble beating later on, is that the MCU is going to forever be tied to modern fashion aesthetics, something that sets things like oh my god, Alien versus Predator. How did this happen? Something
Couldn't have planned
like Alien, Predator, Pirates, Shrek,
Mom.
a number of these films, even Despicable Me, by having such ridiculous characters, it avoids needing to worry about the realism and physicality of something like Halloween, which is so of its era that it's actually just a period piece, unlike something that just is casually of its era, which just looks dated. And that's, I think, where the MCU is eventually going to have a real physical reckoning with its visuals. Maybe even if the graphics hold up, what it looks like is going to age like an episode of The Nanny in 2007.
Yeah.
So for Alien versus Predator, which franchise would you rather remake with you at the helm?
Alien, have a good day. Me at the Ed Helms, thank you.
TK, do you have a vote?
I'm going to vote Predator because I just, Alien, you could get it so wrong and disappoint so many people, and Predator, I can just do whatever I want.
You can cast that girl from Roswell and call it Prey, and people will think it's great.
Exactly. And it will be great because the
yeah.
bar is so low.
Well, also, Prey is great, and the actress
it is
in
great.
Is phenomenal.
Yep.
I personally, at the end of the day, would rather probably do Alien myself, but
Respect.
I really do want to give props to Predator in terms of I think that one has the most room for growth.
Yeah.
I think that Alien already has the most material to work from, that whether you are just expanding it or you are remaking it from scratch, there's a lot of great stuff to work from. Whereas Predator, there's not a lot there, so you would be building it from scratch. So I think there's then even a lot more that can go wrong from Predator because of how much you would have to make up to try and put more meat on them bones.
I completely agree. All right. The final matchup, Muppets versus Aliens.
As it was always meant to be.
The dream.
And this is completely by accident, but it's where it's supposed to be. And I knew this is where we would end up, and I didn't change it around. Which would make the better adult film? I'm going to say right now, listen, the Muppets can be for all ages. The original Muppets thing was titled Sex and Violence, so there very much was an adult bent to it. And while, yes, it might get difficult to put it out there, I think you could make the most respectable and respectful erotic film with like some lightheartedness to it and some very tasteful sex scenes, not involving the Muppets, but they're like MCing it.
They're like extras.
Listen, I love that, but I would give my left foot for half an hour just while I'm watching the film. I want my foot back afterward to watch once the disruptive take on Alien vs. Predator. I'd love to see what they do with aliens, colonial marines. Just give disruptive the alien for 1 minute. Because like a Wolf Legrand wouldn't really drive it home all the way. And what the fuck is a Sean Cody or Randy Blue gonna do? Put him in a jersey that says Alien? Okay. But like, give me your next level Chi-Chi LaRue's. Give me your give me your deep dives and your real auteurs of dictum. And I think you can give me an Alien film.
Dan near killed him.
No, right? That's the whole point of the movie, right? But I would love to see what Disruptive does with a monster with another monster in its mouth.
I like how you are imagining that it's the aliens that are fucking.
Yes.
I like that.
H.R. Geiger would have it no other way.
No, of course not. Yeah, exactly.
Kevo, what you think?
Break that tie, Kevissimo.
For as much as I said, the Muppets do everything. I just don't think I could see the Muppets doing that.
The nasty, as Raven
Yeah.
Simonier would call it.
Yeah,
That's how she wants it said, Raven Simonier.
Simonier.
apparently. My twin sister. So, yeah. I'm probably going to vote Alien.
And
What?
what did RuPaul call Dua Lipa? Hidalgo? What was it?
Dua Lipa?
What is
Dula Peep is Wendy Williams.
No, what is RuPaul gets so horribly wrong again?
Oh, Tuvlo.
Oh,
Tuvalu.
Tovlo.
Yeah.
She did
Tuvalu.
Tuvelu.
Here we go around Tuvelu. Well, all right. I guess there you have it. I think we're saying Alien makes the best porn.
And that's our
Now
wild
we
card
know.
completed.
It's one of those things where like the ending isn't disappointing at all.
No,
I do like the resolution. If for no other reason, it's sort of like, obviously we don't want to see sexy Muppets, TK.
I said the Muppets are not sexy. They're MCing.
Some of us don't cast
Mhm.
the Muppets as voyeurs, but
It's even
Anyway.
worse. He just said the Muppets are sexless.
oh my god.
I can't win.
No.
Well, I do think this was a great bracketing. I think this was a lot of fun. We actually have some cool announcements coming your way after this, but I want to, guys, how do you feel about this bracket overall?
Great set of questions. I'm not much of one to think about, especially like these franchises. These are all ones I take for granted. So, to sit for a bit and kind of really consider what they mean and what context they have for me was fun. I love a bracket no matter what, but playing around with this type of questioning of a bracket has been a fun way to spend the evening.
Yes. Very
Any-
much so.
Any final thoughts on placements, things you wish did better, things you were fine to see knocked out? I'll be honest that neither Batman nor Superman nor X-Men nor
But
Avengers
X-Men didn't do bigger
made it
numbers.
very far.
Yeah.
We were
But,
a comic show,
In a wild card bracket, all it takes is one random question that just doesn't really do it for that thing.
Because sometimes the question is spicy. Sometimes the question is like, which group sucks more? And you're
Yep.
like, well, not the X-Men. I think the Mummy
Well-
sucks.
I was thinking about that, and that's how Star Trek tapped out so early. As the question was, which do you want to see have a Ryan Murphy take? And
Yep.
we were protecting Star Trek by cutting it.
Yep.
So,
Great points all. So that does bring us then to our next bit of content. Tomorrow, I'm really excited. We're going to be covering some new stuff. We're going to be taking a look at the first episodes of Muppets Mayhem, which pretty good beat. You can dance to it. I give it like a 75. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be taking a look at Silo over on Apple TV. We're going to be continuing our look at Drag Race, which since our last episode of Drag Race, Kevo and I have now seen 2 whole seasons of Drag Race.
at least we're almost done with a third.
I mean, we're hungry, man. We love this show. We're only sad we didn't get into it sooner. It's been so exciting and really a pleasure to be part of. So thank you so much to the Drag Race fandom for being awesome. And one of our most liked videos is a Drag Race video. So it's pretty cool to see everybody tune in for our content for Drag Race. And we're really excited to keep rolling with that with tomorrow's coverage. We also have a couple of other exciting things coming up in the next few weeks, like our coverage of The Little Mermaid, of Fast 10. I come from the X-Men fandom, so I never know if an X is a 10 or an X. Weapon 10, Weapon X, it's all the same thing.
Well, and now it's doing very much the Final Fantasy thing, because we're going to get an X2.
And then an X3, so work. Yeah, I'm really excited for everything that we're adding to the coverage banner, because I feel like what we've done is we took two shows. We took HTML and we took X's for podcast, and we said the overlap is kind of weird to not acknowledge, and we sort of melted it all down into one really honest to goodness media reaction show. And in refiltering it, refocusing, realizing that what we talk about is a lot of streaming content. So like, I don't think it's that weird to count a Marvel movie released in theaters as streaming content when nearly every other thing Marvel is streaming content. So if one week we just throw a recent Marvel movie in on a Sunday, I don't think that's the weirdest thing that's ever happened. I think that's part of the nature of the evolution of the medium of media, because media is a medium, even if it contains everything else. It's all of the stuff we can appreciate with our senses. And it's really become exciting to try and figure out where things are going next. You know, there's just been this announcement that Hulu is merging with Disney Plus, which makes a whole lot more sense than David Zaslav's insane statement that streamers need to start bundling together like cable packages.
Which is how we got streaming in the first place.
Now, not everything is great. I am pretty annoyed with Disney dropping several programs from the last couple of years. That's pretty boo-tastic. You are boo. But I'm really excited about some of the brave things going on, like Disney picking up Doctor Who with Jinx friggin' Monsoon and Jonathan Groff. Kevy, as the only resident person who likes both of them, talk to me a little bit about like how you feel for a second about like the fact that we changed our format. Now Doctor Who is going to be something we cover aggressively.
No, yeah, and I'm excited. You know how aggressive I am about Doctor Who. And even most specifically as the least comic voice on the show. I do want to be the one to even reiterate, you know, the comic stuff isn't going anywhere. We got our comics banner right here. We're going to make sure that we are still bringing you plenty of regular comics coverage. X-Men still being a huge love of all of ours. Marvel being a love of all of ours. But we even mentioned a few times the Gargoyles comic that I would love for us to cover at some point on here. I know that we all love Sandman and would probably love to cover that, especially as we start getting geared up in the next year or so for the second season of the Netflix series. We just have so many interests. You know, it was so fun covering Eurovision. I love making this banner over here. Look how cute that is.
Oh, man. I've been seeing cha-cha-cha for a week.
We've got our drags, we've got our pruns, and, you know, it's just about bringing what we love to the show and, you know, team friendship over here. And, yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm really pleased with everything that we've been bringing, and we're still figuring out exactly where we want everything to go, but we're still bringing you all the same lovely, delicious content.
I can't wait to keep bringing it to you guys daily, nightly, ever so rightly. You know, let's just say it, Turk on Scrubs is one of the sexiest men on TV.
Yep.
God, Donald Faison, just talk about it. Like, talk about a 10.5, really. Anyway, handsome bald men, just do it for me. I don't know. So, anyway, I can't wait to cover all of this. And now I'm like literally trying to be like, hey guys, can we just do Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck next Saturday?
We definitely could.
Well,
maybe.
It's isn't it the 40th anniversary of Disney Animation or something this year? So,
yeah.
I would love to do a Disney Animation bracketeering and talk about. There's been a few different Disney animated shows that have made the leap, for better or for worse, to publication. So that's definitely worth investigating for us for sure.
Goof
Man,
Troop.
I'm building this episode for next week because next week is going to be a little unusual. Both of those
that's right.
episodes are going to be pre-recorded, and it's going to be unusual. We're gonna try something freaking new, and it's because I'm going a little away. But these two guys are going to make sure everything runs normal. I'm so excited. It's been a really long time managing shows with a lot of people who I love very much. And we recently changed the show a lot. And it's really cool to feel like the show has evolved to a place where we can do something a little different. And it's going to be a really killer episode. And I'm really excited.
And everybody, don't worry. While Nico is away and can't check streaming, I will just broadcast live whenever I feel like it. So, just look for the flag saying we're live, and it's just me coming to your living room,
doing boylesque,
singing, la 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 la,
dancing, boylesque. I might show a nip or two.
Yeah,
maybe 3. Who knows?
The third one, I'll turn around and show it to you. It's all on the table, so just get ready. It's gonna be a fun weekend.
I'm ending the broadcast. Kevy, where can we find you?
You can find me on the socials doing socially things at Kev O'Reilly. That's KEVOREALLY. And Teak, where can they find your third nipple?
You can find it on Twitter and Instagram at xnateXgrayX. Nico, where can they find you?
You can find me at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION. You could also find me all over this amazing network. You can check out my work in the Gamer and GLAAD award-winning Young Men in Love, as well as over on KidRiotComics.com. You can check out my music over at SoundCloud. Check me out at Nico Action on SoundCloud, where I'm going to be getting all of the amazing music that you hear running here up, the cool covers that we've been able to extrapolate and put into the show. I'm going to really push hard for a Disney afternoon week next week. We'll see what happens. But everybody, until then, these are the two coolest people in the entire universe. I can't believe I get to make this stupid show every fucking week. It's the coolest thing in the world. It's two smartest, cutest guys I know. Couldn't love them more. And I love making this show. And subscribe, check us out every Saturday and Sunday. And until then, I got to come up with a new sign off, but X is for us, X is for show.
Keep those lights lit, keep those doors open.
Your house lights lit, your show doors open, your stage doors open.
Okay, keep your porch lights lit. Porch light lit, stage doors open.
It was always only 2 things, so you're trying to come up with more stuff, but
don't forget, if you get pulled over, invoke the 5th Amendment. And we'll see you.
Don't eat socks.
Don't do it.
I know you want to. I know you want to. So bad. Okay, you can eat one.
ASMR sock eating.
Delicious socks. Eat those socks, girl.
Always
you know
eat
you
your
want
socks.
to eat those socks.
Always eat your socks.
Go to bed, children.
Treat yourself.
Eat the socks.
Treat yourself to socks.